But now let's move on to her human design, because this is where things get really, really, really interesting. So if we look at her human design, Liz Truss is actually what we call a 1-3 manifesting generator, but she's of the type that is actually closer to a manifester than a generator. So you get two types of kind of manifesting generator. You get ones that are essentially sort of generators with manifesting abilities, and then you get manifestors with generator abilities. And she technically is what we call a manifestor with generator abilities. So very similar to Elon Musk. Somebody who is a manifestor, but actually is connected to an energy center, what we call an energy center. So they're not kind of the type of leader who's going to just bark orders and then expect everyone else to carry them out. They are the type of person who are doers themselves. So they will kind of lead from the front. They will sort of like, what's the word? They will lead by example. And so it's interesting that she's actually a very, very powerful individual from a sort of an energetic point of view. And I think people sense that about her. Often they say that, one of the things that manifestors come up against in their life is the sense of people feeling threatened by them, and so they thwart them. They kind of throw obstacles in their path. And in this sense, we could be seeing some of the criticism of her as coming from that place, particularly from men who feel threatened, because there's nothing more threatening than a strong, powerful woman. So that is something to sort of take on board. When we are sort of considering her as an individual, that she does have the 2034 channel switched on by her lunar node. So this is almost kind of, this is the channel associated with power, with charisma, and with deeds designed to maintain survival, and not just for herself, but also for the collective. So, it means that she has the throat, which is the ability to sort of like make decisions and to sort of issue orders, but then she also has the ability to sort of make sure that they are carried out, and will do what she can to carry them out herself. And that is a formidable combination that really is very, very powerful. So, I wouldn't be surprised if we do see strong opposition to her, first of all, to her leadership bid, and of course to, if she does get into the position, that she will always potentially have quite strong enemies, or people that are sort of like envious or jealous of her, and that's kind of stand in her way, and that try to sort of thwart her ability to sort of get things done. So, similar to what Obama discovered when he had his first term, and he didn't have the House with him, that was very difficult to sort of to get things done, to do any business. But then what's so interesting, given what I was saying about all the water in her chart, is that she does have emotional authority. So, all the human design, every human design kind of body graph has a particular area that represents how they make decisions based. And what's so interesting about all of the centers is that you cannot in human design have either the crown or the third eye as being centers of authority. So in other words, none of us really make decisions using our head. We can kind of process information, we can use it to help us to make decisions, but ultimately all of us make decisions from other places. And in Liz Truss's case, she has emotional authority, so she makes decisions based on her emotions. And if she does have Cancer rising and the moon in Pisces, this makes her very lunar in nature, which is very in keeping with this particular center, because it is moon ruled. It's about waves of emotion. And the one thing that they always kind of say to you in human design is, don't make decisions on the hoof, don't make decisions immediately. Wait for the full, kind of cycle of the emotional wave to sort of to work through the whole cycle before you make a decision, because otherwise what will happen is you might be very enthusiastic about something and agree to it, and then change your mind within a couple of days or hours. So it's important to work through that emotional wave before committing to anything. But what is interesting is that her moon is in gate 55, which we've just had as the sort of the opposite programming partner to the new moon in Virgo. And that is really interesting. It's in the sign of Pisces, and it's all about abundance, and it's about abundance coming from like having an abundant mindset. And part of the abundance mindset is of a kind of a win-win attitude. And as I say, we didn't really see it in her campaign, but you do see that enthusiasm and that desire to serve in her earlier career. It's more sort of obvious. And, it could be over time that she's got a little bit jaded. It could also be that her advisors have kind of said to her, times are tough. People don't really want to hear a lot of like rhetoric and sort of like pie in the sky philosophy. They want to hear sort of solid pragmatic answers to their problems, which is mainly to do with the economy and that type of thing. So it could be, as I said, that we don't see that side of her at this point. So that's kind of interesting. The other thing I find interesting about her chart is that all of her centers are activated except for her crown. Now that again is extremely powerful. It means that she's not that open to influence from others. She's not going to be conditioned easily by society, the environment, the influence of other people. She's going to make up her own mind. And again, that can be very intimidating to people, particularly if they feel that they don't have any sway with you. But on the other hand, I think it's quite a good thing to have in a prime minister, because it means that she's very independent-minded and that she's going to listen to all the input, but finally, she's ultimately going to make the decision herself and then take accountability for it. So that to me is a good sign in a leader. That you don't want somebody that's too easily influenced, say by popular sort of demand, or is swayed by the mood of the public too easily, because that can make people very susceptible to like changing their mind a lot, not having a sense of conviction. And I think the opposite is true here with Liz. So that's also very interesting. But I think the main thing is that she does have the will center switched on via the channel 4037, which is the channel of bargaining. Now, the will center, as I've said before, is actually the most important center that you want to see switched on in a leader, because this really allows you to be heard by other people. And it also sort of gives you the energetic authority to make decisions and not have pushback. So it's very important to have that center switched on. Otherwise, what tends to happen is that you try to sort of like offer people advice or suggest something or initiate, and you get pushback from people if it's not sort of switched on. So it's very important, if you want to have any kind of authority as a leader, to have that center switched on, and she does. And what's so interesting is that it is linked by the 4037. So it's linking her will center to the center of her authority, that emotional center. So that to me bodes very well for congruence in terms of making decisions. And yes, so the 4037 is what they call the channel of bargaining, and it's all about deal making and brokering, and I think that's really important for a politician. You want somebody who can kind of go to the negotiating table and who can actually sort of thrash out a deal and make things work. You don't want somebody who's kind of stubbornly sort of sit in their tower and not do anything, or is not going to sort of like take advice or kind of roll up their sleeves and get their hands dirty. So this is somebody who's a very good negotiator, and who can compromise if necessary, when it comes to making deals. So that I think is interesting. And the importance of this channel, of course, is that if people do make promises, they must follow through on those promises. So it's very important that she is seen to have integrity, and that she is seen to have kind of follow through when it comes to decisions. So I think that remains to be seen. But I like the fact, as I said, that there's this congruence between her emotional center and her will center. So that, again, to me, sort of bodes well. Now, as far as her type is concerned, or her profile, she is a 1-3 manifesting generator. And so what this means is that she tends to investigate first. So she needs to sort of take in information or learn from her environment. These are people who love education. They love going on courses. They love to learn new things. They'll take in a lot of information from the environment, and then they'll experiment with that information. That's where the third line kind of comes in. So they'll experiment, they'll try different approaches until they find one that works. So this is a kind of an open-ended person. If we were talking in terms of, Myers-Briggs types, we would definitely be talking about somebody that was like an NP, in terms of the last letters, rather than a TJ. So someone who's open-ended, who is open-minded, and who has a certain plasticity, who's going to sort of like not have fixed views, who's going to be open to input and also able to change their mind. And I think that's very important when times are sort of volatile, that you need to be able to kind of not turn on a dime, but you need to be adaptable enough to kind of go, okay, this isn't working, we need to try something else, and then sort of move in that direction, rather than get stuck, stubbornly stuck in a position that isn't working, and not being willing to sort of like compromise or kind of get out of that rut. So I think that's kind of interesting. It speaks to a certain agility and a certain adaptability, which I think is good, given that she is this very strong manifesting generator, that she's not going to be a dictator, that she is going to be open to trying new things. So that's kind of interesting.